What's up, my friends, and thank you for taking time out of your busy day to listen. I'm JV, and if you're a new listener, welcome. I truly appreciate you joining the Influence Exchange. Today's topic hits close to home for me. You've heard me talk about influence, mindset, and legacy, but there's a bridge between all of them. Something simple, quiet, and incredibly powerful. That bridge is consistency. Anyone can show up when things are going great, but showing up when you're tired, uncertain, or discouraged, that's what separates potential from progress. Today, we're going to break down what it really means to show up, even when it's hard, and how doing that day after day can completely change your life. We live in a world that celebrates the start of things, the new job, the launch, the big idea. But what really gets celebrated is the grind that keeps things alive. So today, I want to celebrate you, the people who keep showing up even when no one's watching, the ones who stay steady through both the excitement and the exhaustion. Because consistency matters, not just at work, but at home, in a friendship, in a relationship, and within yourself. It's easy to show up for the good times, but real consistency means being there also when things get messy, uncomfortable, or uncertain. Have you ever felt that pull, that voice that says, they need me, even when you're running on empty? Or maybe you had someone show up for you when you were at your lowest, when you didn't even ask. That's what consistency is all about. It's the glue that holds trust together. And I love to hear your story. Better yet, come on the Influence Exchange and share your journey with our community. Because the world needs more stories of people who keeps showing up. Now, let's dive into what the research says about why it matters. A 2021 study in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that employees who practice behavioral consistency, showing up with reliability and emotional steadiness, built stronger trust and long-term credibility than those who only shows bursts of enthusiasm. That's powerful. And the same principle applies to life. Consistency builds confidence because it teaches your brain, I can rely on me. And once you trust yourself, others learn they can trust you too. Let me be real for a minute. There was a time in my life when I wasn't showing up. I start strong, full of energy, ideas, motivation, but when things got tough, I will fade out. Not because I didn't care, but because I was chasing perfection instead of progress. Earlier in my career, I'd take on projects that looked amazing on paper, but the moment things got complicated, a client issue, a personal task, or just plain burnout, I tell myself, I get back to it later. But later turned into months. And when finally I looked back, I realized I hadn't just let others down, I let myself down. It took me years to understand this truth because showing up isn't about being ready, it's about being present. One of my mentors said something that stuck with me. And the quote said, JV, if you only show up when you feel like it, you'll never know what you're truly capable of. That was my wake up call. From that day, I made a promise. No matter how I felt, I keep showing up for my team, for my family, and for myself. And something amazing happened over time. That daily decision, even on the hard days, started to change my life. A quote I read on the internet, as I enjoy reading quotes while I do my research. Consistency compounds. Just like interest, it pays off quickly until one day it changes everything. Let me share a more specific example that really shaped this belief for me. A few years ago, there was a period where I felt stretched thin. New responsibilities at work, family adjustments at home, and a few personal goals that seemed to keep slipping further away. I remember waking up one morning feeling absolutely drained. My motivation was gone. The easy thing to do would have been to call out, delay a project, or mentally check out. But I forced myself to go in anyways. I told myself, just show up. You don't have to be perfect, just present. That moment, a coworker came to me, highly stressed. They were struggling with a critical issue for a customer. We sat down, spoke about it, and mapped out a plan. And eventually, we solved it. It wasn't exciting, but it mattered. Later that week, the same person told me I was going to give up on this project until you sat down with me that morning. That moment hit me hard. It reminded me that sometimes your presence is the influence someone else needs to keep going. That one decision to show up, even when I didn't feel like it, had a ripple effect. It helped someone else succeed. And that's what consistency is: invisible effect that builds visible results. The psychology of showing up. Here's what the research says. Neuroscience shows that repeated consistency behavior strengthens neutral pathways associated with discipline and emotional regulation. A 2022 study in the Frontiers of Psychology journal found that individuals who maintained small consistency habits like waking up at the same time, exercising, or journaling reported higher emotional stability and purpose. So when you show up daily, even in small ways, your brain starts to identify you as someone who keeps commitments. That identity fuels future actions, making it easier to stay consistent. Now let's bring that to life with a few examples you might recognize in your own world. Example 1, the morning routine. Think about the person who wakes up 30 minutes early each morning, not to check emails, but to breathe, stretch, and get their mind right before the chaos begins. That single choice sets the tone for their entire day. They might not see instant results, but their mindset becomes sharper, calmer, and more confident because they've built a rhythm of presence. Example 2, the parent who shows up. Picture a parent who's juggling a demanding job, school runs, and dinner prep, but still makes time every night to sit with their kids, ask about their day, and listen. They're not just showing up physically, they're showing up emotionally. Years later, that consistency becomes the foundation of trust in that relationship. Number 3, the professional on the journey. Maybe it's you showing up to the office or your own business, even when the motivation isn't there. Responding to clients, following up on tasks, keeping commitments. Every email you send, every problem you solve reinforces your identity as someone dependent. Over time, others start to see you not just as a coworker, but as the person who can be counted on. And finally, number 4, the personal growth journey. Or maybe it's someone who's committed to self improvement, journaling every night, walking 15 minutes daily, reading 10 pages before bed. They're not chasing perfection, they're training consistency. And that practice becomes who they are: calm, centered, and reliable. Consistency isn't about good gestures, it's about quiet repetition. The small, unseen moments are the ones rewiring your brain for success. So, as you think about your own routine, where do you show up more often? At work, in your relationship, or for yourself? Because when you start showing up daily, even in small ways, you start believing you're the kind of person who follows through. And that belief changes everything. Now, we've talked about the mindset behind consistency. Let's focus how to build it, not just at work, but at home, in relationships, and in life. Because the truth is, consistency isn't just a professional skill, it's a life skill. It's the quiet commitment that strengthens everything you care about: your health, your family, your goals, and your peace of mind. So here's how to put it into action with 3 key factors. Number 1, start small, stay steady. Don't aim for perfection, aim for presence. Even showing up 60% beats not showing up at all. You don't need to revamp your life in one day. Start with something small and repeatable: making your bed, taking a 5-minute walk, checking in with someone you love. Every small act builds self trust, because when you keep promises to yourself, even the little ones, your confidence grows quickly, day by day. Number 2, anchor your habits. The easiest way to stay consistent is to attach new routines to things you already do. If you check emails each morning, follow that with 2 minutes of gratitude and reflection. If you cook dinner every evening, use that time to talk with your partner, your child, about one good thing that happened today. Anchoring built rhythm, and rhythm built results. Soon, these actions becomes automatic. You're no longer forcing discipline, you're living it. Number 3, give yourself grace. Consistency isn't about never missing, it's about never quitting. There will be days you fall short, moments you're off balance, and times when you need results. And that's okay, because coming back, that return is what builds resiliency. Maybe you missed a workout. Maybe you lost your temper. Maybe you didn't show your best today. You know what? That's life. What matters is that you come back tomorrow and try again. Ask yourself, why? Because progress equals perfection. Why consistency matters everywhere. At home, consistency builds connections. When you're present for dinner, help with homework, or simply ask, "How was your day?" Those small, steady moments become the foundation of trust. In your career, consistency earns respect. Your colleagues and clients learn they can rely on you, not because you're perfect, but because you're steady. In life, consistency builds identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, and that belief changes how you show up in every area. Because influence doesn't come from doing something once, it comes from showing up again and again until your actions speak louder than your words. I will end like this. Today, I look back at that younger version of myself, the one who started things but didn't finish. And I'm grateful for him because he taught me what not showing up feels like. It feels like potential is wasted. It feels like when your voice could have helped someone else. Now, every day I remind myself, even if it's a tough morning, even if motivation is gone, my presence might be what inspires someone else to keep going. That's what the influence of change is all about. Not perfection, but participation. Because showing up, especially when it's hard, is where influence begins. Share this podcast with someone who could use a spark of motivation. Subscribe, leave a review, and connect with me on all social media platforms at The Influence Exchange. And remember, your influence grows every time you choose courage over comfort. I'm JV. Stay curious, stay consistent, and keep influencing others.